Hi there, I'm Stephanie Jolluck from Coleccion Luna.
Okay, and can you tell me a little bit about what it is you do?
Yes, I've been traveling to Guatemala for the past 13 years, working directly with the Mayan Indians on a partnership, and we create a line of textiles and wood carvings and beaded jewelry.
All right, and how long have you been doing that for?
13 years. 13 years in March.
And do you do most of your business here in Atlanta, or what are your summer customers?
Some of my local customers here are the Carlos Museum, Mingay World Arts, the Botanical Garden, and Abbas.
Okay, and I guess how does your business model differ from some of the other people that import Guatemalan crafts?
Well, from different people, from people that import Guatemalan crafts, but also anyone that imports, I feel my business model is different because it's a direct partnership, and I travel there 6 times a year to work with my artisans and have created a relationship that goes beyond just business. Like, we've become family, and it really has a heart and soul because I spend a lot of time with my artisans, and I go the extra length to be able to spend 6 times a year with them versus 1 or 2 times a year. It's also direct trade in the sense that they create. Everything that I create is made from their old clothing, and then as far as the textiles go, and I give them designs that they create from their old clothing that I then bring back here to sell. So it's definitely a partnership. I bring them, the fashion of the Western world using their traditional clothing, and they set all the pricing.
Now, you've told me previously that you work with some local humanitarian organizations that do work over in Guatemala. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I also use my business as a vehicle to support international humanitarian organizations. I work with 50 Cents Period, and they're based here in Atlanta, but they work with young schoolgirls in India. They'll be working with girls in Nepal and Nicaragua soon. And I create product for them that they then use as a way to raise money for their organization. I'm also starting a partnership with Emmanuel Jal, who is a former child soldier, now international peace activist, musician, and writer. My artisans in Guatemala are creating beaded bracelets to support his cause, which will help raise funds to will help raise funds to build schools in Sudan, and also be used as a message to create peace in Sudan and the world, and really focusing on stopping the genocide in Sudan.
Okay, and I guess describe some of the personal relationships and benefits that you've had with some of the Guatemalan people that you've met.
Okay. Well, I've been working with some of the main families I've been working with for 13 years, and I really focus on, with any of my relationships, and I always am looking to work with new families, but I really focus on creating relationships with my families. And the 2 main families I've been working with for 13 years, I've become godmother to 3 of their children. The relationships are really beautiful. We call each other on birthdays, on Christmas. I get invited to weddings, birthday parties, graduations, and it's become, like I said, beyond a partnership, more of a family.
What really got you interested in doing this?
Okay. Yeah, I studied Latin American literature and anthropology, both at Georgia State University and then at Universidad de Guadalajara in Mexico. And when I graduated, I went to Guatemala on a volunteer program for 3 weeks with the Mayan Indians, and it was a co-op of women that focused on women who had survived the Civil War, and it was just one of the most powerful experiences of my life, definitely life-changing. I worked with women that had survived the terrible 36-year war, genocide, rape, watching their villages get destroyed, their husbands killed, their sons killed, kidnapped, and many other atrocities and violence. And these women were chosen as leaders from the villages to build their villages back up, to then rebuild their villages and empower the villages once again after all the destruction. So working with these women and seeing their courage and their strength and their resilience after they experienced such violence and destruction was life-changing. And then I backpacked by myself for 2 months around Guatemala and fell in love with the gorgeous textiles, and just became enchanted when I learned it was a 2,000-year-old textile tradition, and just saw the intricacies, and really learned about what went into one shirt. For example, they weave their cosmovision, their spirituality, their history, their belief system. So all of their clothing not only was gorgeous and rich and vibrant, and also each one has a story. And I just saw these women making these, and I saw geniuses for the intricacy in the textiles, but then I also saw they were the people most poor. And it was the first time I'd seen extreme poverty. So between working with the women, seeing their textiles, and then witnessing extreme poverty for the first time, those three elements became the inspiration for Coleccion Luna.
Awesome. Okay. Can you tell me a little about your collection itself and what's in your product line?
Yeah, absolutely. So my main focus with my collection is textiles, and most of it, I would say about 90% of it, is recreated from their traditional clothing. So like on a lot of the handbags or pillows, for example, you can actually see the neckline of the woman's shirt, or you can see actually, no, you can just see the neckline. But so I use their old skirts, their old shirts, their old belts, and then use those as all elements. And the line of handbags has about 75 different handbags. I do belts, pillows, table runners, so focusing on home and fashion accessories.
Okay, and I guess what's been the most rewarding experience that you've had doing this?
The most rewarding experience is, after developing these really deep, meaningful relationships with my artisans, is the past couple of trips. We've had some really intimate talks, and I actually spent the night with them and spent the weekend with them and shared some really wonderful times in their village, which was just priceless, and shared some really intimate talk. And they told me for the first time truly how I affected their life and my business had affected their life. How, and I got to see the house that my business built, and, heard stories, for example, of how Lydia, the woman I've been working with for 13 years, was very close to dying in childbirth 2 times and had to spend both times 6 months in the hospital. And the only way she could afford the best hospital in Guatemala was because of my business. And the 13-year-old daughter was telling me this with tears in her eyes, that how I'd saved her brother and sister. And I knew I had affected their lives, but when I hear the little details and the little stories of how much I've had an impact, it was really special.
Do you see the business model that you've created as something that others should take up?
Yeah, no, I definitely think, fair trade, empowering women, sustainability, all of those are such trendy words right now, but I think they're overused, and I think what I said earlier was, me creating a true partnership, and it's a true cottage industry. I'm truly working directly with my artisans. I'm traveling, as often as I can to Guatemala to spend time with them, to know them more on a personal level. And I think it's really important if you truly want to be a fair trade and truly, make positive impacts in your artisans' lives and in their communities. I'm working closely with a wonderful organization here called Humanitarian, and it's the first of its kind that uses media as a platform to empower women to become more business leaders in the world and show the impact that women have in a positive way as entrepreneurs and both as business leaders and corporations. So this Wednesday, June 20th, from 7:30 to 11:30, I'm one of 8 Atlanta women entrepreneurs, and we'll be on panels sharing our success stories, our strategies, and just our journey as entrepreneurs to empower young business leaders to begin their journey as an entrepreneur, or to inspire them, or to give them guidance. So hope to see you there.